The Ardor Warden is a large, mysterious beast that is the only one of its kind. It is a completely genderless being and is unable to bear any young of its own. It's cursed to be reborn anew whenever its body dies. It retains full memory of its past lives and past friends. The Ardor exclusively feeds on plants and spends much of its time foraging and storing food within its den. The Ardor Warden spends most of its time alone, within a large den it has claimed as its own. It doesn't dislike other creatures, it just hates to grow attached to them, for it makes it much more painful when Ardor eventually outlives them all. Those that enter its den will be met with intimidating snarls from Ardor before swiftly being pushed or carried out. The Quetzalcoatl is a photovore that abandons its young once it is born. They must fend for their life, as there is no other way to survive. This baby Quetzalcoatl in particular is more helpless than the average newborn, and desperately looks for its mother. But she is nowhere to be found. The child, once brave enough, is able to gather enough strength to fly to some form of safety and comfort. The safety and comfort eventually being the Ardor Warden. Strangely, the Ardor tends to melt at the sight of young creatures that have seemingly been abandoned by their parents, and it can't help but take them in and care for them. Though it will provide the creature with food, company, and shelter. Unless said creature is a verdant warden, it will not protect them in the event they're attacked. With this baby in particular, Ardor shows the ways of prey carnivore living, which is the typical way of life for Quetzalcoatls. They will travel the land together. Of course, with this little one needing to keep up with Ardor, they must learn how to fly in order to survive. Despite the fact that Ardor itself cannot fly, it has mastered skills that most likely no land creature will ever be able to accomplish as good as Ardor. Teaching a flyer how to fly. Sadly, all good things must come to an end. When the creature it is raising becomes an adult, the Ardor will cease its care for it, forcing the creature to live on its own. They say their bittersweet goodbyes, and the Quetzalcoatl flies off, about to start its new adventure. Despite this, it feels very happy when it is visited by those that it has cared for, and will openly converse with them for a short time. Quetzalcoatls are known to have choirs composed of little creatures to sing for others. this Queza has brought its choir to show off their voices to Ardor. As the circle of life goes, sometimes tragedies happen at the most unexpected times. The Ardor cries out for its helpless friend, knowing it cannot intervene. If it hears of or sees the death of a creature it raised, it will often grow sad and grieve for a short while. Even Ardor is willing to break its normal habits of pushing away every creature, just for a moment of comfort by one of Quez's choir members, as they both grieve together. Ardor was close friends with the first verdant, and at the time was unaware of the pact shared amongst the other wardens, unaware the others would die. They would spend all of their time together, and Verdant was even able to get Ardor out of its cave to explore. Despite the fact Ardor has seen everything a million times, Verdant brought a newfound light to Ardor's never-ending darkness. As the years passed, their bond only grew stronger. Years continued to pass by, and soon it was Verdant's time. And the Mordalium knew that too. As Verdant lays there dying by Ardor's side, Mordaliums go against their typical nocturnal behavior to witness the death of a warden. During these last few moments, Ardor tells Verdant of its secret of being reborn. The Verdant cannot handle the pain of knowing that its best friend will never be able to live in peace. As the Verdant drifted away, it left an abundance of flowers, a typical visual of death amongst Verdants. What wasn't so typical was the emotional pain that was so unbearable for the Verdant that as it died, it left physical remnants of itself, known as oxytalis. The sadness, the despair Verdant felt for those last few moments before its death materialized into the enormous plant creature with permanent tears streaming down its mask-like face. The Ardor had sensed that a part of Verdant lived within the oxytalis. But still, when its friend died, the Ardor grew so very depressed and grieved until it succumbed to starvation. Once it had reformed, it vowed to itself to protect, care for, and listen to all of the stories of all of the Verdant's descendants, willing to bear the pain of growing attached to and grieving every single one. As the years, the decades, and even the centuries passed by, Ardor still remains close with the Verdant Wardens, each Verdant newly met, is eventually another broken heart for Ardor. Over and over and over and over and over again. While it has not vowed to protect them like it has the verdants, the Ardor is friendly to all Oxytalis it meets, for they are all that's been left of their old friend. Despite this, being in their company tends to remind it of its eternal grief, sending it into a deeper depressive state, and sometimes the grief is simply too much for the Ardor to handle. Too much so that it will even leave the only physical remaining piece of its friend. The poor Oxytalis. The Ardor despises being reborn, and would rather cease existing entirely if it could forget all the pain it has experienced. When its body can no longer carry on, the flower on its back will glow brightly and become a ball of light. This light will eventually fade, revealing the Ardor's new body, starting its cycle anew, albeit with full memory of all of its past lives and experiences intact. The life that Ardor would never bestow upon another. Ardor Warden, forever alone as the Solemn Caregiver.